From the East Brunswick Jewish Center, I'm Rabbi Jeff Pivo. I've sometimes joked that the study of Torah should be limited to those of adult age, since nearly every page of Torah is filled with tales of murder and sex. Parshat Matot this week makes the point quite nicely when Moses commands that after defeating the Midianites in battle, the Israelites should also kill the surviving male children and any women who have had sexual relations. The context for that otherwise horrifying decree is that these are the Midianite boys who will grow up to be the enemies of the Israelites, and that it was the Midianite women whose sexual behavior in enticing the Israelite men into pagan culture nearly destroyed the people. From a modern point of view, even that context doesn't erase our unease about the content, and the metaphor itself continues to challenge us. The Torah often treats idolatry in terms of harlotry or sexual disloyalty. It speaks of following other gods in terms of wandering eyes and lusting hearts and so forth. It appears that the worst possible sin in Torah is that of turning away from the beloved God of Israel in order to take up with a pagan god, so to speak, and that the language that best suits such a betrayal is that of the betrayal of a spouse sexually. In our time, we don't typically think of our relationship with God in those terms, but I wonder what is lost by not doing so. These metaphors are obviously symbolic ones, and since the loyalty of marriage remains one of the strongest bonds we have, why don't we speak of God as beloved or lover or spouse? And maybe that this kind of language fits poorly for us because we no longer live in a majority pagan culture, unless we do, which is a talk for another time. And so the metaphor no longer makes sense. Or perhaps betrothal to God is a concept itself that is too concrete, a relationship too intimate for us to comfortably use. The language of sexual disloyalty is simply too fraught for us to use in a religious setting. Luckily, there are many other descriptions of God in the Hebrew Bible and elsewhere that continue to shape and reflect our relationship with God in inspiring ways, and which further don't induce us to harm innocents. When we become nervous about one form of God language, we can always resort to other, safer ones that make more sense for our own religious lives. God language is always metaphoric. We must therefore strive for metaphors that describe our relationship to God now, even if they are quite different from those that we find in the Torah. Even, I might suggest, if they are the exact opposite of those that we find in the Torah. From all of us at the East Brunswick Jewish Center, a Shabbat Shalom.